CSI. Miami once had millions of viewers holding their breath with every case. But behind the lights, some of the actors stepped into fates even more tragic than those on screen. Sudden death, destructive addiction, broken marriages, and vanished careers. And there were also those who skyrocketed, achieving success beyond imagination. Who fell and who triumphed? Let's uncover this shocking truth together. Evan Ellingsson as Kyle Harmon. When Evan Ellingsson was just 19 years old, he took on the role of Kyle Harmon, the son of Detective Horatio Caine in CSI, Miami in 2007. The role brought him special attention from audiences and opened the door to Hollywood after many years of effort. The glamorous light of the screen transformed him into a promising face, but behind that brief success lay a dark reality that few could have imagined. Evan Taylor Ellingsson was born on July 1, 1988, in California, USA, into a family with 4 brothers. His life took a painful turn in 2008 when his brother Austin passed away from a drug overdose. That shock gradually pulled Evan into the world of drugs, beginning at the age of 19, a time when he should have been living in the spotlight of his career. The pain of loss and weakness in the face of temptation drew him into a spiraling addiction with no escape. In the following years, Evan lived torn between the desire to return to the screen and the darkness of substance abuse. He entered rehab centers multiple times, but each flicker of hope was swallowed by relapse, dragging him further down the abyss. After 2010, his film career came to a complete halt, leaving a young man once hailed as a promising talent merely a shadow of himself. His efforts to hold on to life gradually became a bitter chain of failures, turning Evan into a lonely figure amidst the blinding lights of Hollywood. On November 5, 2023, Evan Ellingsson passed away in Fontana, California, from a fentanyl overdose at the age of 35. This sudden death left unbearable grief for his family, friends, and the audiences who had once followed him. His net worth was only about $1 million, far too small compared to the hopes he once carried. The final image of him was not a shining star, but a person fallen in the battle with addiction, leaving behind a sorrow that makes one shudder at the terrible cost of fame taken too soon. Nicole De Huff as Carrie Delgado. Nicole De Huff played Carrie Delgado, a diligent blood technician in the laboratory on CSI, Miami in 2003 when she was 28 years old. It was only a small role, but considered a step forward in her artistic path after she had made her mark in the hit film Meet the Parents, 2000. Nicole's career began to shine, but that light did not last long. Nicole Renee De Huff was born on January 6, 1975, in Antlers, Oklahoma, USA. In 2005, at only 30 years old, her body began showing severe respiratory symptoms. She went to the hospital seeking help, but instead of being treated, she was twice misdiagnosed with bronchitis. The intense shortness of breath worsened, while Nicole was sent home with nothing but some meaningless fever reducers and antibiotics. The pneumonia that was truly devouring her lungs went unnoticed, as no one would listen to her cries for help. In her final days, Nicole lived surrounded by medical injustice. She repeatedly returned to the hospital, only to be sent home each time under the indifference and negligence of doctors. Her body weakened, her breathing labored, yet the hope of saving her life was extinguished in the very place meant to sustain it. When Nicole collapsed in her own home, an ambulance rushed her away in critical condition. By the time the illness was truly discovered, life had already departed from her forever. On February 16, 2005, Nicole De Huff took her last breath at the age of 30. She left behind her husband, Ari Palitz, and a family shattered by tragedy. Her net worth was estimated at around $500,000, a small figure compared to the grand dreams she had left unfinished. Her death shocked audiences and left a deep sorrow over the fragility of fate. Michael Madsen as Coop Daly. At 46 years old, Michael Soren Madsen appeared on CSI Miami in 2003 as Coop Daly, a character full of toughness and the weariness of a man who had lived through much. His appearance brought the rugged, familiar intensity of his big-screen persona to television, leaving audiences impressed by his fierce and untamed presence. But behind the camera, Madsen's life was far from bright. It was a long chain of darkness and wounds that never fully healed. Michael Soren Madsen was born on September 25, 1957, in Chicago, Illinois, USA. He grew up in a family marked by division, with his parents divorcing when he was very young. However, what pushed his life toward darkness was his alcoholism, a habit that began in his youth and gradually turned into a relentless nightmare. Alcohol not only eroded his health but repeatedly led him into legal troubles, caused broken marriages, and severely damaged his career. In the following years, tragedy compounded when he faced the greatest shock of his life: his son Hudson's suicide in 2022 due to depression. The pain of losing his child drove Madsen further into alcohol, bringing with it a series of legal scandals, from DUI charges to domestic violence accusations. Both his career and family gradually crumbled under the terrible weight of these losses. On July 3, 2025, Michael Madsen passed away at his home in Malibu, California, after a cardiac arrest at the age of 67. Doctors confirmed that he died of heart failure, with his long-term alcoholism being a contributing factor. His net worth was estimated at around $4 million, accumulated through more than 300 roles in film and television. His ashes were laid to rest at Mount Sinai Memorial Park in Hollywood Hills. Johnny Lewis as Mason. When Johnny Lewis was 20 years old, he took on the role of Mason in CS1, Miami in 2004, a brief appearance that nonetheless helped this young actor establish a presence on American television. At the time, he was considered a promising talent, and just a few years later, his role as Kip Halfsack in Sons of Anarchy made his name explode. Yet, the dazzling spotlight only temporarily masked a real-life tragedy that was slowly unfolding. Johnny Lewis was born on October 29, 1983, in Los Angeles, California, USA. After a high-speed motorcycle accident in 2011, he suffered severe brain trauma. From then on, his life spiraled into mental disorders and increasingly erratic behavior. His parents tried to force him into scans and treatment, but Johnny refused. That stubbornness became an invisible sentence, pushing him further from the stage lights and closer to a darkness beyond rescue. His personal tragedy deepened when Johnny became embroiled in a bitter, prolonged legal battle for custody of his daughter, Kula May, with actress Diane Gaeta. He lost, losing the chance to be a father, and that loss further deepened his unhealed emotional wounds. Once a promising talent with a rising career, he became a powerless actor, repeatedly entangled with the law, surrounded by violence, addiction, and ultimate isolation. On September 26, 2012, Johnny Lewis died at the age of 28 after killing his landlady, Catherine Davis, and her cat, then falling from the roof. Investigations showed no drugs or alcohol in his system, only the traces of a mind destroyed by brain trauma. His net worth was estimated at around $1 million, but that material value was negligible compared to a talent left unfinished. Lisa Sheridan as Kathleen Newberry. At 28 years old, Lisa Sheridan portrayed Kathleen Newberry in CS1, Miami in 2002, a brief role that nonetheless showcased her subtle, nuanced acting. It was a step forward in her television career, after leaving an impression with Freaky Links and Invasion. Yet behind this rising trajectory lurked a darkness no one could foresee, a darkness that would eventually consume her entire life. Lisa Sheridan was born on December 5, 1974, in Macon, Georgia, USA. Her life grew increasingly fragile as alcohol and prescription drugs entered the picture, transforming joy into inescapable obsession. Years of alcohol addiction deteriorated both her body and mind, while benzodiazepines became a dangerous crutch she reached for in desperation. Depression encircled her, and those who loved her could only watch helplessly as she gradually succumbed to the battle with herself. Her isolation deepened after her breakup with actor Ron Livingston, to whom she had been engaged from 2000 to 2003. The ended romance left a vast emptiness, and Lisa never regained stability of spirit. The television glow that once defined her presence became only a fragile shell, concealing a woman increasingly exhausted by alcohol, drugs, and mental collapse. Every role she played afterward carried a trace of sorrow, as if Lisa were imprinting onto her characters the emotions she could not speak aloud in real life. On February 25, 2019, Lisa Sheridan passed away at her home in New Orleans at the age of 44. The cause of death was identified as complications from chronic alcoholism combined with benzodiazepine use, with no signs of suicide. She was buried at Rose Hill Cemetery in her hometown of Macon, Georgia. Her net worth was estimated at around $1 million, a modest sum compared to the indelible mark she left behind. David Caruso as Horatio Caine. David Caruso joined CSI Miami in 2002 as Horatio Caine, the unflinching leader of the crime scene investigation team, whose cold gaze and iconic sunglasses became a symbol at the age of 46. Across 10 seasons, he became an indispensable face, offering audiences a model of integrity intertwined with mystery. Yet off-screen, Caruso's journey was far from the radiant, immortal character he portrayed. David Stephen Caruso was born on January 7, 1956, in Queens, New York, USA. Behind Hollywood's glow, he was haunted by personal failures. All 3 of his marriages ended bitterly, leaving wounds not easily healed. An ex-girlfriend even sued him for fraud and emotional harm, turning his name into a center of scandal. Personal pain seemed to accompany his career, making him simultaneously famous and tarnished by unshakable blemishes. In the latter years of his career, Caruso faced allegations of sexual harassment on set, further fracturing his public image. The man who had once stood at the pinnacle gradually retreated into silence, choosing to step away from the spotlight. In 2012, after CSI Miami concluded, he unexpectedly announced his retirement, leaving behind a substantial but controversial body of work. What remains is the memory of a talented actor perpetually shadowed by the darker facets of his own life. Today, David Caruso is 69 years old, living in relative seclusion away from Hollywood. He focuses on art business ventures, managing personal projects, and running a fashion store in Miami. His net worth is estimated at around $25 million, mostly accumulated from a staggering salary of over $375,000 per episode of CSI Miami. Emily Proctor as Callie Duquesne. When Emily Proctor was 34 years old, she played Callie Duquesne in CSI Miami in 2002, the intelligent and fearless ballistics expert. Across 10 seasons, Callie's image, with her gentle yet resolute smile, became inseparable from Proctor's name, turning her into a series icon. Yet the dazzling light on screen never fully reflected what she endured behind the scenes. Emily Mallory Proctor was born on October 8, 1968, in Raleigh, North Carolina, USA. Her private life has not been without silent wounds, especially the challenging journey to motherhood. At the age of 42, she gave birth to her first daughter. The joy of becoming a mother came hand in hand with immense worry and sacrifice, forcing her to reduce her appearances on CS1 Miami. Late motherhood became a harsh challenge, and she often struggled under pressure and a lingering sense of incompleteness. In later years, Emily faced an even greater loss when her beloved Pacific Palisades home was destroyed in the 2025 wildfires. Every possession, every cherished corner of memory, was consumed by flames, leaving a painful void for a woman who had already given so much. The strong, confident Emily fans knew from the set was replaced by the real Emily, standing amid ashes, forced to rebuild from ruin. Today, Emily Proctor is 57 years old. She lives more quietly, focusing on the non-profit Groundbreakers, which she founded, while maintaining work in interior design, a passion running parallel to her acting career. Her net worth is estimated at around 14 million US dollars, a reflection of her years in television and relentless dedication in business. Adam Rodriguez as Eric Delco. At 27 years old, Adam Rodriguez joined CSI, Miami in 2002 as Eric Delco, a diver and crime scene evidence specialist. His character quickly became a familiar face to audiences, appearing in suspense-filled episodes across 10 seasons. But behind the confident and strong exterior, Rodriguez's life was marked by inner wounds. Adam Michael Rodriguez was born on April 2, 1975, in Yonkers, New York, USA. From the moment he stepped into Hollywood, he faced heavy racial prejudice on his career path. Cold rejections and lost roles, simply because of his Puerto Rican and Cuban heritage, pushed him into despair multiple times. Every step in his career was a harsh battle to prove that his talent was not limited by skin color or background. During those difficult years, Rodriguez found strength by picking up a pen and stepping behind the camera. He began writing scripts and eventually directed several episodes of CSI Miami, using it as an escape in an industry filled with bias. Those years of struggle transformed him into a powerful storyteller, someone willing to fight discrimination and carve a path for himself. The humiliations he endured became the motivation to establish his name through talent and perseverance. Today, Adam Rodriguez is 50 years old. He continues acting while also working as a director and screenwriter, expanding his artistic journey on his own terms. He lives happily with his wife, model Grace Gale, and their 3 children, finding peace in family after years of battling harsh prejudice. His net worth is estimated at around 10 million US dollars, a well-earned reward for a career that rose steadily from the shadows. Jonathan Togo as Ryan Wolf. Jonathan Togo joined CSI Miami in 2004 as Ryan Wolf, a passionate rookie haunted by perfectionism when he was 27 years old. The character quickly became a fresh highlight of the series, bringing Togo international recognition. Yet the dazzling on-screen light reflected only a part of his life. Behind the camera lay private wounds not easily healed. Jonathan Frederick Togo was born on August 25, 1977, in Rockland, Massachusetts, USA. His life seemed calm at first, but marital breakdowns would change its course. His union with actress Diora Baird, once expected to create a happy family, dissolved bitterly after just 3 years. The divorce left deep cuts, and Togo carried them into a personal life full of contradictions, where love and responsibility never quite balanced. Later, Togo sought happiness again with writer Tiffany Baker, but the early years of that marriage were filled with pressures. His career was no longer as bright as during CSI Miami, while family life demanded sacrifices, leaving him repeatedly facing feelings of emptiness. Past heartbreaks haunted him, leaving a Jonathan Togo shaped by experience but bearing cracks in his soul. Today, Jonathan Togo is 48 years old. He lives quietly, focusing mainly on smaller projects and time with family. His net worth is estimated at around 6 million US dollars, earned primarily from CSI, Miami, and other television work. Rex Lynn as Frank Tripp. Rex Lynn was 46 years old when he joined CSI, Miami in 2002 as Sergeant Frank Tripp, a gruff but loyal character who brought balance to the investigative team. His role lasted for 10 years, cementing his image in the police shirt and straightforward demeanor, as if Lynn had been born to embody Tripp. But behind this steady presence was a journey marked by hardship and loss. Rex Maynard Lynn was born on November 13, 1956, in Spearman, Texas, USA. Before entering film, he worked as a bank officer and suffered a severe shock when the bank where he was employed went bankrupt. The event not only stripped away stability, but also forced him to restart from scratch as an adult. Those years required Lynn to struggle between temporary jobs and minor roles, cultivating both patience and the pain of someone tirelessly seeking a place to belong. After many uncertain years, Lynn found a late harbor in love when he reunited with country singer Reba McEntire in 2020. They had first met in the 1990s but only officially came together nearly 3 decades later. Their relationship became widely admired, yet it reflected another truth. Lynn had endured many years of solitude and quiet before rediscovering warmth and happiness. The cracks in his personal life seemed to make him value love even more in later years. Today, Rex Lynn is 69 years old. He continues to appear regularly on television, from CS1, Miami to Young Sheldon, while enjoying a peaceful life with Reba McEntire. His net worth is estimated at around $5 million, the result of a career spanning more than 3 decades. Eva Larue as Natalia Boavista. At 39 years old, Eva Larue joined CSI, Miami in 2005 as Natalia Boavista, an undercover FBI agent with piercing eyes and secrets that relentlessly haunted her. Her character quickly became a dramatic focal point of the series, elevating Larue from her familiar role on All My Children to a new level of recognition. Yet off-screen, her journey was often tinged with tears. Eva Maria Larue was born on December 27, 1966, in Long Beach, California, USA. Behind the bright lights, she faced consecutive marital breakdowns. 3 marriages, including a relationship with businessman Joe Cappuccio, ended bitterly. Each separation left deep cuts in her heart, shaping a woman who appeared strong but carried pain she seldom revealed. Her misfortunes didn't stop there. Eva and her daughter Kaya lived under the shadow of fear for a decade, stalked relentlessly by James David Rogers from 2012 to 2022. Only after his conviction could mother and daughter breathe a sigh of relief, yet the emotional scars remained deeply etched. Those years transformed Larue into a symbol of resilience, while also exposing the harsh underside of fame. Today, Eva Larue is 59 years old. She continues acting, recently stepping away from her role in General Hospital in 2025 after a brief return to television audiences. Offset, she embraces a quieter life, dedicating time to her daughter and community endeavors. Her net worth is estimated at around $4 million, a modest sum for a long career, but behind it lies a life marked by profound loss and perseverance. Khandi Alexander as Alex Woods. When Khandi Alexander was 45 years old, she stepped into the role of Alex Woods, the gentle yet strong medical examiner who silently witnessed and understood the toll of death in CSI, Miami, in 2002. Her character quickly became the emotional anchor of the series, a quiet soul guiding viewers through brutal cases. But behind the camera, Alexander's journey was equally fraught with personal highs and lows. Khandi Alexander was born on September 4, 1957, in Jacksonville, Florida, USA. Before acting, she began as a dancer and rapidly rose to prominence as a choreographer for Whitney Houston's international tours. While the stage lights shone brightly, they also left invisible wounds. Harsh pressures, fierce competition, and years of constant travel often drove Alexander to exhaustion, leaving her feeling adrift in a world seemingly full of glory. Later, when she transitioned to acting, she confronted another harsh reality, the scarcity of roles for women of color in Hollywood. She had to fight against prejudice, accepting minor roles or being passed over solely because of her skin color. Each step in her career demanded sweat, tears, and extraordinary resilience. Leaving CSI, Miami was a difficult choice, as she turned to theater to affirm her acting depth, even if it meant giving up the security television offered. Today, Khandi Alexander is 68 years old. She lives privately, seldom appearing in public, but continues to participate in select projects. Her net worth is estimated at around $6 million, not enormous, but enough to attest to a long, varied, and resilient career. Omar Benson Miller as Walter Simmons. At 31 years old, Omar Benson Miller joined CSI, Miami in 2009 as Walter Simmons, an art theft specialist hailing from Louisiana. His towering, humorous character brought a fresh breeze to the later seasons of the show, making audiences remember him not just for his impressive stature, but also for the charm he infused into every scene. Yet behind the camera, Omar's journey to success was paved with unexpected turns and quiet sacrifices. Omar Benson Miller was born on October 7, 1978, in Anaheim, California, USA. His youth was marked by a passion for sports, particularly basketball and football. He once dreamed of becoming a professional athlete, but injuries and physical limitations forced that dream to close early. The loss left a deep wound, yet it also opened a new path: acting. Starting with small roles, Omar steadily carved his place, repeatedly confronting Hollywood's biases against his size and skin color. His career path was far from smooth. Even with appearances in major projects like 8 Mile and Transformers, he often found himself sidelined. Those times challenged his confidence, leaving him to question whether he truly belonged in the world of cinema. Yet, perseverance and resilience kept him standing, and when Ballers and CSI Miami came along, he finally received the recognition he had long sought. Today, Omar Benson Miller is 47 years old. He continues acting while also exploring producing and voice work, such as in Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. His net worth is estimated at around $2 million, a modest sum compared to many peers, but a testament to a career built on sweat, tears, and unwavering determination. Rory Cochran as Tim Speedle. Rory Cochran played Tim Speedle, a forensic field specialist with a cold yet profound persona, in CSI, Miami in 2002 at the age of 30. His character quickly became a familiar face over the first 3 seasons, only to leave suddenly when Speedle was shockingly shot and killed in a dramatic episode. While fans mourned the loss, for Cochran it marked a turning point toward a different path, less luminous, but full of challenges. Rory K. Cochran was born on February 28, 1972, in Syracuse, New York, USA. His childhood was turbulent, moving with his family to England before returning to New York. The upheaval left him feeling adrift, constantly searching for a true sense of belonging. His journey into acting was far from easy, facing the instability of the craft, struggling through small, unnoticed roles before finally having the chance to establish his name. Leaving CSI Miami. After Season 3 to pursue independent films was a painful choice. Cochran sacrificed the stability and fame of television to enter the world of artistic cinema, a space of fierce competition with no guaranteed success. He has shared that the pressures of this choice often forced him to confront lonely, quiet moments. Yet, his dedication to art kept him steadfast, even when the path was never lined with roses. Today, Rory Cochran is 53 years old. He lives privately, mainly appearing in independent films or supporting roles in larger projects such as Argo and Black Mass. His net worth is estimated at around $3 million, a modest amount compared to many peers, but reflective of a career driven more by passion than fame. The smiles on screen hide only a fraction of the truth. Behind them lie contrasting tragedies and successes that leave anyone astonished. Which fate among the CSI Miami cast do you think is the most tragic? Leave your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you won't miss the next shocking story.